Stay whelmed, all you heroes out there, for this is the final issue of Young Justice Target. Are you feeling the aster? Because with the unfortunate second cancellation of Young Justice, we have to hold out hope after this issue is done that, who knows, maybe in 2029 we'll get more seasons of Young Justice, but you gotta keep the hope alive. This was fun enough to tie things over, but it just makes me want more of that Young Justice content. Regardless, last issue, the team's efforts to rescue Queen Perdita ended up taking them into conflict with none other than Lex Luthor and his latest creation to take down Superman and Superboy, Metallo, a cyborg being with a kryptonite-powered heart. A dangerous undertaking to be sure, and with several of Lex Luthor's Lexbots attacking the team, it's been a struggle to say the least. And with the other team who actually managed to track down Perdita coming face to face with none other than Simon, thanks to McGann's abilities, it seemed like everything was able to work out, only for Count Vertigo as well as Queen Bee to make the scene, turning the team against each other, with several of its members seemingly killed. But if we know anything about the team, nothing is ever what it seems. How will they manage to get out of this predicament? Join me as I find out in this last issue, won't you? Got a pretty cool looking cover with McGann's team. Got Halo, Baby, Arsenal, Red Arrow, Arrowette, and Huntress. Alright, we pick up with Perdita awakening to the cabal of villains, namely Simon, Queen Bee, and Count Vertigo. It's Young Justice Target, Last Right. Written by Greg Weisman, art by Christopher Jones, colorist Jason Wright, letter Wes Albert, and, the rest. Perdita looks around and sees those who were enthralled by Queen Bee, namely Arsenal, Red Arrow, and Halo, standing over the brutally murdered allies of theirs, namely Arrowette, Huntress, and Miss Martian. Naturally, Perdita questions what happened, and Queen Bee simply says, "Nothing unexpected. My loyal thrall simply dispatched a few unwanted intruders." The mindless Red Arrow says, "They're dead, as you requested, my love." Perdita wells up with tears, turning to her uncle saying, "This is all your fault." Count Vertigo says, "Oh, I'd love to take credit, dear niece, but I cannot, which is not to say I don't heartily approve. It's all been sheer genius." Count Vertigo explains, "Liberating me as a feint, a distraction, so that when you were taken, no one would glean the real reason, especially with anyone who might know the truth having been put into a temporary coma. Of course, no one expected the ruse to last forever. Your meta friends were bound to come here looking for you, but our allies were ready for that as well. And by that time, the kryptonite stolen from you had already been installed in Lex Luthor's latest creation, Metallo." And we see that while half of the team is outside battling Lexobot, the other half is at the mercy of Devastation, Mammoth, Shimmer, and Metallo. Perdita questions, "And what do you get out of all of this, uncle?" Vertigo explains, "My freedom, for one thing, plus, you never know, though I cannot legally become king of Latva, the Markovian border crisis created the perfect prescription for a nationalistic uprising. And since every revolution requires a demagogue who could be enlisted to lead ours, well, everyone loves a good comeback story. And what better way for said comeback to begin than with the assassination of my niece?" Queen Bee tells her thralls, perpetrated by a rogue metahuman. "Halo, be a dear and kill Queen Perdita for me, please." Halo mindlessly says, "As you command, my queen." But as per usual, we get the reality of how things have gone down. As the team was meeting previously on the Watchtower, they explain, the obvious problem. Halo says, yes, Queen Bee's power to cause intense infatuation in certain individuals. She means men, straight men, and bisexual or gay women. Just anyone who's attracted to her in general. Be you man, woman, or anything in between, above, around, and below. Huntress says, we've learned it's a combination of complex pheromones and a low-level psychic push. McGann says, I could thwart the latter. Red Arrow explains, and believe it or not, a massive dose of garlic pills can actually thwart the former. Ugh. I love garlic, but too much garlic is, ugh. Too much garlic. Arrowette says, then with the help of a few Hollywood tricks and McGann's shape-shifting skills, Huntress finishes, we should have the situation and Perdita's rescue wired. And in present day, Halo says, but for one problem, as she blasts away Simon, Queen Bee, and Count Vertigo, she says, I find your power most offensive. Naturally, all of our deceased actors get right back on up. Huntress pulls the arrow out of her chest, saying, glad that's done, but getting this fake blood out of my costume will take hours. Arsenal says, hours? I'll be tasting that garlic for weeks. And Arrowette comes over and says, hey, this means I'm officially a member of the Fake Your Own Death Club, right? I love that. Oh my goodness. Huntress says, we'll hold induction ceremonies later. And as McGann's gaping hole in her chest starts to close on up, she says, I have to get to Connor. I figured it was something like that. I'm just like, of course. Because we've seen all these tricks before. Especially in the last season, where they pretend that the House of Zod killed them all. The fake blood and the injury. I mean, Huntress already pulled that trick. I just feel bad for Perdita. She probably had no idea this was happening. But Huntress tells McGann that I'm coming too. And McGann tells the team, the rest of you, get Perdita to baby. So while Halo opens up a boom tube, Arsenal, Red Arrow, and Arrowette help up Perdita, while Miss Martian and Huntress head off. Arsenal questions, you alright, Perdita? Perdita simply says, please, don't worry about me. But Tigress and Miss Martian? Red Arrow explains, wouldn't worry about them either. In fact, I'd worry more about anyone who tries to get in their way, as we see Miss Martian and Huntress just cutting a swath through all of the soldiers, trying to stop them. And so the Perdita rescue mission is A-okay. Meanwhile, something that really kind of took me off guard was the fact that Shimmer destroyed Stargirl's staff. Just melted it. Like, And Stargirl is, like, just getting pissed, saying, you destroyed my cosmic staff. You destroyed my cosmic staff! And she just kicks Shimmer right in the face. I think downing her right then and there. Mammoth, who had been holding up Beast Boy, who had turned into a gorilla by the neck, is, of course, distracted by seeing his sister kicked in the face. But Beast Boy says, just the distraction I needed, as he turns into the Malefic, giving him the capability to get the jump on Mammoth, who he throws right into devastation, something that Wonder Girl thanks Beast Boy for, as she manages to tie out both Mammoth and Devastation, saying, got him. Meanwhile, Metallo has Superboy at his mercy, saying, maybe, but that won't save Superboy, only for a voice to say that's not their job. It's mine, as Miss Martian floats down before Metallo with fury in her eyes, saying, my husband already died once this year. He will not die again, as she shatters Metallo's fingers off of his hands as he cries out, no! She also rips out the kryptonite heart from Metallo's body, saying, and now we get rid of this. But it's obvious Metallo is in immense pain, as Devastation calls out, what a hypocrite. Can't let your precious Superboy die, but you got no problem watching the new kid kick it. He needs that rock to survive now. So are you gonna let him have it, or watch him die without it? Miss Martian sends out a mental communication, Halo, boom tube. We pick up the next day, pick up in Metropolis with Lex Luthor talking to Mercy and one of his guards, saying, so she left the kryptonite with Metallo. I have to admit, sparing his life was a class move. But then suddenly Lex is gone as the guard says, what the... Mr. Luthor? Where'd he go? We see Lex in Rocket's bubble, I guess being masked by Zatanna, as he's surrounded by Rocket, Zatanna, Aquaman, Cyborg, and Lagoon Boy. Huh. Lex says, well, kidnapped into a force bubble concealed within a glamour by members in good standing of the Justice League. Rocket says, but how would you prove that? And Zatanna adds, and who would believe you? Aquaman states, let us be clear with each other. Perdita Vladek is family. From this point forward, she is off limits to the machinations of you and the like. Lex sneers and says, please, I've faced down Superman. Do you truly believe you children can intimidate? And Aquaman coolly says, yes, which just completely shuts Lex Luthor down. Zatanna then says, Narrator, me! And Lex is back where he was before. The guard says, you're back. What happened? Mr. Luthor? And Lex is just completely, blank-faced. Did they do something to him, or is it something else? Meanwhile, aboard the watchtower, Nightwing asks so everyone got out safe. We see Connor in a pod, I guess, take care of the kryptonite in his system. And I think Match is in another one. Match's story has just been all in comic books, honestly. But this actually kind of resolves the whole situation surrounding Match finally. But Connor is in the pod. Miss Martian, Superman, and Nightwing are standing around him. Miss Martian says to Nightwing, no hero left behind. And no nasty Simon surprises left behind in Perdita's mind either. Nightwing says, I'm just sorry we lost the kryptonite to Lex and that Metallo guy. McGann dismisses it, saying Metallo had made his choice, and I made mine. He has his cold kryptonite heart back. He'll have to live with it. And Nightwing just says, but kryptonite? But Superman states, that's alright, we'll deal. And Connor also smiles, saying, hey, you lose some, you win some. We got Perdita, and we got our brother back, as he turns to Matt. We then cut over to Star City in the Memorial Hospital, and someone says, wait, I think they're waking up. Sterling wakes up first, saying, what's going on? As Jim Harper tells her, you've been in a coma, but you're okay now. Denny wakes up shouting, the Queen! As Clayface says, easy, take it easy. And Perdita says, I'm fine, Denny. I'm just glad you are alright. Well, Green Arrow says, that's good to hear, Princess. I'd have been worried, if I'd been conscious. Well, Black Canary says, I think deep down we knew you'd be alright. We see that Arrowette, Red Arrow, Arsenal, Huntress, and Leanne are all there as well. With Red Arrow says, because they knew we'd make sure of it. Arsenal says, seconded. Huntress says, hear, hear. Well, Perdita turns to Beast Boy and says, I'm just so grateful to all of you. And Beast Boy says, of course, you and I may not be a couple anymore, but we'll always be family. And we're told, never the end. So I guess this also kind of serves as a bit of smoothing over of Beast Boy and Perdita's relationship. No, they didn't get back together, but they're on good terms as a whole. Perdita has always been close with the group and all that, and that's not going to change anytime soon. But then we pick up with our backstory aboard the Watchtower before the whole rescue mission went down, when Huntress was talking to the team, when she said we should have the situation and Perdita's rescue wired. But Huntress was thinking to herself, we'd better, especially on this day. It was 6 years ago exactly when Wally made the promise. Oh, Wally. As Wally was on the phone with Perdita, saying, Perdita, listen, I know today brings up old bad memories, but you survived. Young Justice Targets, Yesterday's Children, Memory 6. Written by Greg Weisman, artist Christopher Jones, colorist Jason Wright, letters Wes Albert, editor Ben Mears. Well, we're just connecting everything, huh? Even when Wally saved Perdita, Huntress recapped, it was 4 years before that when Wally and Perdita first met. He had been tasked with carrying a donor heart across the country for her. He wasn't happy about it, but he got the job done, facing off against Count Vertigo, who attempted to steal Perdita's crown by thwarting her transplant. But Wally, or rather Kid Flash, saved the day by saving the heart and the Queen. And the two of them became fast friends. We pick up back with Wally on the phone saying, honestly, Perdita, I think you're the bravest person I know. But being brave doesn't mean you're not also allowed to be scared. And when you are scared, just do exactly what you did tonight. Call me anytime. If you need me, I'll be by your side in no time. I promise. Huntress says to her, narrates, I loved him for making that promise. Oh wow. I'm actually just realizing this is Wally's funeral we're seeing now. I don't think we ever actually saw Wally's funeral. Dang. Huntress's narration continues, even if it was a promise that ultimately he wouldn't be able to keep. I barely remember the funeral. I was so lost, and though I couldn't see it then, I know now I wasn't the only one. As the pastor says, Wallace West was a young man of tremendous potential. Oh, is this how Beast Boy and Perdita got together? Huh. Beast Boy goes over to Perdita saying, it's okay to cry. Everyone here loved him. Perdita says, it's not that. I mean, it is that, but God, I'm horrible, selfish. Beast Boy says, I know we just met, but I kind of doubt it. Talk to me. Perdita says, I'm afraid. So many horrible things have happened to me. Beast Boy says, believe it or not, I know exactly what you mean. Perdita explains, Kid Flash, Wally, he was like my security blanket. He made me feel safe with him gone. Beast Boy says, no one can replace Wally, but I promise you're not alone. Perdita simply says, thank you. Dang. So that's how it happened. Yeah, this funeral shot also is a who's who of people. You even get to see Hawkman and Hawkwoman without their helmets on, and even Dr. Fate showed up in an astral form. Okay, I didn't realize who it was in the back there next to Plastic Man, but I'm guessing that's an older Billy next to Mary, and I guess the person in the chair is Freddy. Okay. Freddy's black in this continuity. Or maybe something else? Huntress's narration continues. Not that life's been a cakewalk for Perdita since then. She has been endangered by Baron Bedlam, targeted by Granny Goodness, and abducted by Simon. This act of Luthor's was just the latest, and Kid Flash wasn't here to save her, so the rest of us kept his promise for him. And we see after the rescue, everyone on board Baby, with Halo saying McGann says Connor will be alright, and Huntress simply says, then let's go home. And we have Perdita talking to Beast Boy, with her saying, so this is just my life now, isn't it? One crisis after another, a damsel always requiring rescue. But Beast Boy tells her, no, that's not what happened at all. You led a covert mission to get Kryptonite into safe hands. Besides, I have it on very good authority that this will be the last time you're threatened by Lex and his ilk. You're safe now. As Huntress simply thinks to herself, happy birthday, Wally. I didn't even realize it was Wally's birthday. And it says never ever the end. Man, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel towards the end of this, but this was actually a very good series of issues to kind of just, bring Perdita's whole situation kind of full circle, get it all put in there, put out there, all that good stuff, and ending things on a tribute to Wally. Just, yeah, you know what? Yeah. I will still always be shocked that they've kept Wally dead. But this did serve as a good bit of closure to everything Perdita's experienced, from the whole DC Showcase Green Arrow, to Wally's getting her heart, to her relationship with Beast Boy. It really does highlight how much of a linchpin in things that Perdita has really been. Her relationship with the superhero community, their care and her love for her, even with Will, and his guilt over the fact that her father was assassinated on his watch. Like, there is a very deeply ingrained relationship with the superheroes and Perdita, to the point where even her having obtained kryptonite became this mission because she's so ingrained in the superhero life. She's not a hero of herself, but she is a part of the team in many ways, and that's kind of sweet. That's a kind of a sweet note to kind of go out on. A few moments that I didn't even know we never really explored, but how Perdita and Beast Boy got together, Wally's funeral, just moments here and there that just really they hit different, You didn't need them, but they were interesting to have. I have my fingers crossed that maybe Young Justice will come back again, sooner rather than later, but for now, I'm just gonna say, until next time, Young Justice, until next time. Because I can't believe that it's gone for good. We managed to get it back once before. Maybe we'll do it again. But tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. How did you feel about this little mini-series? Yeah, it didn't give us any ground-breaking revelations, but it did kind of wrap up a few things and give some closure to a few moments here and there. Even the match situation, that was a bit of a thing in the comics originally, because Match has been here and there in the comic book version of the Young Justice show, and he's had a whole journey, and now it's kind of come to a conclusion with him being saved by the team. Yeah, if you've been reading, really, you should have been reading the Young Justice TV show comic book tie-in, because those are like deeply ingrained in the lore to a shocking degree, if I could say so myself, because Greg Weisman, he writes them, or he was involved with people who wrote them, so it just gives you these interesting little extra tidbit. Yeah, you can go throughout the series without seeing any of it, but it just gives a little bit more fulfillment to moments by just checking it all out. But again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you have faith that Young Justice will manage to have yet another revival? Or do you think this is the end of the road? I'm interested to hear from you. But also remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications so you don't miss out on hopefully another return of Young Justice. Come on, Season 5. But until then, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.